So what's going on, fam? Welcome back to the Forever Better podcast. It is Thursday, May 21st. And yes, I did say Thursday. I know I spoke about the upload schedule being Mondays and Fridays, but I had this urge to just record, man. I've honestly just been thinking about recording. I wanted to do it yesterday. I just had this feeling inside me. I just really wanted to record. So I was like, why wait till tomorrow? Why not just get this one done, record this one? And maybe that's because of the news that came out about the Godfather of podcast, the GOAT, Joe Rogan, hitting that $100 million deal with Spotify. Maybe that kind of lit a fire under my belly. And it was, that just gave me a little bit of extra motivation to know that the fucking GOAT of podcasting went out there and just, did a fucking game-changing deal. So maybe it was because of that. Or maybe I'm just bored and just really want someone to talk to. So, maybe it was a combination of both. But we're here, we're recording. It is episode 10. So we made it into those double digits, man. Episode 10. Who would have thought? From the very first podcast when I was shitting myself speaking up until now where I'm, still shitting myself, but not as much, man. Not as much. And yeah, man, I've just been really enjoying having these little conversations with you guys, man. I think it's just my thing, man. It's making me fall in love with talking. All this podcasting is making me fall in love with talking. And there's times where I'm just like, yeah, maybe I should put out more than 2 episodes a week. It was actually a lot of things. It's like sometimes I'm just like, maybe I should just do 1 episode a week, but make it like a longer one rather than say 2, 15 to 30-minute episodes a week. Why don't I just do 1 and just make it longer? One that's just like, anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour. I don't know. I like this one. I like breaking it up a little bit. Yeah, it just seems, and recording multiple times a week, it just seems, I don't know, I'm enjoying it. That's all I'm trying to say, man. I'm enjoying it. Like I said, I'm loving these conversations. And I'm just one of those guys where it's like, if you've got something to tell me, man, call me, FaceTime me. I don't really like text. Obviously, if you tell me like one little thing, then yeah, text me. If it's something like, hey, I'm outside, or I'm on the way. Yeah, you can feel free to text me that shit. But if you want to have a full-blown conversation, call me, FaceTime me. I like that shit. And it's one of those things, and through text, I feel like you can't really convey emotion that well, especially for me. Well, for me, I can't really convey emotion that well, especially if you've got a joke. The joke doesn't hit as hard when it's in the text. You got to vocalize that shit. And here's the thing I hate about text, man. Actually, here's the thing I hate about text. Sometimes you have that one friend, you text him back and forth, and it's just minimal time in between texts. You're going back and forth. All of a sudden, the text stopped. And then 4 days later, that person finally replies. Or 4 days later, this is in my case, I see a text come in. I'm like, what does this person want? And then I open it up, and I realize we were having a conversation 4 days ago. And now you're just finally replying. And it's like, 4 fucking days? 4 days? Like, the conversation's over. I don't even want to talk about whatever we were talking about anymore. And 4 days, it's like, why are you bringing up old shit now? Whatever message you just sent me, take that shit back to 4 days ago. The conversation's over. Like 4 days. Man, it takes like 10 seconds to reply to a text. You tell me you didn't have 10 seconds in 4 days. But it's just, I don't know. I'm not a fan of that. And I feel like in that type of situation, if you were on a phone call, that shit would have happened on that same day. That shit would have happened in like, the 30 minutes. But that's just me. And actually, the other thing with text, right? It's sometimes say you be talking to a girl. You haven't spoken in a day or two, and she hits you with that text. Hey, how you been? How you doing? How was your day? And you give her a reply, like a proper reply. Hey, I'm good. Just finished work. Just got home. This happened. That happened. How are you? How's your day? And then she'll hit you with good. Something like that. I'm not good. Something one word answer. And normally, when someone gives you a one-word answer, that's kind of like a sign, right? It's like, I'm keeping this short because I kind of don't want you to talk to me, you know? It's just a one word because I don't want to open up this conversation. I don't want you to keep talking. I want you to shut up. I don't want to talk to you. But the thing is, that person in my circumstance, that person initiated that conversation, right? So it's kind of like, that doesn't make any sense. Why would you just hit me with that one word? Be more interesting, you know? And then, some girls, they'll kind of follow that up. If you don't reply to that, because they give you nothing to reply to, they'll follow you up and be like, oh, how rude. You didn't even reply. And it's like, give me something to reply to, you know? Give me something to reply to. If you're going to initiate a conversation, let's have a conversation. Don't give me that one word. Like, what am I going to do with that one word? You know? Just be more interesting. So, I don't know if that's just me. Maybe I'm just being a hater. But that's that's my whole thing. It's like, if you can initiate the conversation, let's have a conversation. But I don't know, maybe that's just me, like I said, because I don't know, I'm one of those types where my brain goes like 1,000 miles an hour. So you really do need to keep my attention. Like, you honestly have to keep my attention. You need to be interesting. You got to keep me entertained. You want me to stick around, you got to keep me entertained. And like, don't get me wrong, man. Sometimes I can entertain myself, in a PG way. But when it comes to conversation, you got to keep me entertained, man. And yeah, man, I don't know why some girls just be doing that shit. And especially if you initiate the conversation, because someone initiates the conversation, it's like, hey, they want to have a conversation. And so I'm down for that. Let's have a conversation. But then you kind of like hit me with these one-word answers, and it's like, dude, I'm getting mad. You gotta just give me something to work with. Be funny, be interesting. Tell me about your life, man. Tell me your story. I love stories. I really wanted to make a podcast, titled Story Time with JJ, because I love stories. But like I said, maybe I'm just being a hater. Who knows? And actually, the thing about haters, let's talk about haters real quick, because it's one of those things where I feel like there's a lot of people out there that just judge people way too quickly. And look, I used to be hated on all the time. Especially if you look at my Instagram. I started off my Instagram thinking I was going to be like a fitness dude, So obviously with the fitness dudes, you taking pictures of you in the gym, you taking pictures of you with your shirt off. And obviously because I used to work at nightclubs too. And so that, on top of being a PT, people was like, they look at my Instagram, it's like, this guy just loves himself. He's a fuck boy. He's all about himself. And it was just people just so quick to judge in that way. Like, obviously once people got a chance to talk to me, they were like, all right, he's actually pretty cool. But yeah, sometimes some people are just so quick to judge. And even when I was in the topless waitering industry, automatically you're just when you put all those things together, it's like, this guy's no good. He's just out there. He's just out to get girls. He don't want anybody. But that's the thing, man. Some people are just so quick to judge. And it's like, this one time I used to have a second job at a supplement store. And I was filling in at one store. And one of the sales reps came in. And he was like, oh, where's this guy? And I'm like, it's his day. He's just, he took today off. I'm filling in. And he was like, oh, I've known him for a while, back when he used to work at this other supplement store, which is one of the competitors. And I just replied, oh, I didn't know he used to work there. And then that sales rep kind of like stood there like looking like he was in trouble. And he was like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have said that. And I was like, why? And he's like, oh, because sometimes, some people realize that they work for a different company, like one of the competitors, and that's kind of like frowned upon. And I was just like, who cares? Like, he had to make a living, he's just another guy trying to make a living. And that sales rep was like, that's true, man. I'm glad you said that. But just other times I've said it, and people just haven't reacted well. It was just frowned upon. They looked at the guy differently. And it's just like, damn, what type of fucking judgment is that? And like, I've seen it before, sometimes people aren't in as good of a situation as yourself, and sometimes people will just be so quick to judge. but really you just don't know the true story behind it. Maybe that person's just in a bad point or a low point in their life. And I've kind of seen it a lot in terms of, say, you meet someone who used to be a stripper, lingerie waitress, male entertainer, even for myself, like topless waitering. Um, and, obviously when you're getting to know someone, you kind of tell them about your past and everything like that. And sometimes people or when people find that out about you, they're automatically like, oh, you're a hoe, you're a slut, something like that. And it's kind of like, for all you know, someone's getting into that job because they're at the lowest point in their life. They feel like they got nothing else going for them, and they need to do something. Otherwise, it's I'm gonna wake up in a ditch one day, or I'm gonna be homeless. I'm gonna have nowhere to sleep tonight. I'm not gonna be able to put food on the table. I'm gonna starve to death. And it could be a matter that someone did this or took one of those jobs just so they wouldn't end up in that position. They felt like it was the last resort. If I don't do this, it's over for me. And sometimes people just need to realize that, rather than just hating on them, saying something negative about them. It's like, if that's a situation, then I got nothing but respect and love for you. The fact that you chose not to lay down and give up, you have my respect. The fact that you chose to get up and do something and get yourself out of that position just so you can have a better life, you have my respect. Just because you did something like that in the however you want to call it, the adult entertainment industry, just because you did something like that doesn't mean you were out there fucking other girls, fucking other guys, doing other drugs. You were just out there to make money. You really needed to get yourself out of a certain situation. You managed to do it. Now you're not doing that, and now you're in a better position. And if that's the case, man, you have my respect. Obviously, there are some people out there that just like doing that type of work and just want to do that work. And if that's the case, then you know, do you be happy? Do whatever you want to do to be happy. You're not harming anyone. Um, but that's the thing, man. I just feel like you really need to sit back and know the true meaning as to why they're in that position. If they're doing it because they love doing it, who are you to stand in front of someone's happiness? If they're doing it because they felt they had no other choice and now they're in a better position, then give that person their credit, give them their respect. They did something, they managed to kind of get themselves out of a bad situation. They chose not to give up. Respect that. And that's the thing, man. There's just, I don't know why there's just so many haters out there. And I've had people, I know people that, that would always come together and just talk shit about other people. And they're talking shit about other people that, did nothing wrong to them, had nothing to do with them. They just enjoy talking shit. And I guess you can say that just comes from a point where they're just so unhappy with their lives that they just go out and try and bring other people down with them. And I guess you can say it's that whole misery loves company thing, man. And that's just the type of people you need to avoid. People that are out there being all, talking shit, being all toxic. Avoid those people, man. You want to have a happier life and attract better people into your life. Just avoid those type of people, man. But yeah, that's what I've kind of got to say in that situation. I guess I don't know if you couldn't call this a rant or a podcast, but actually, this is my advice. These little podcasts, these are just my advice to you people. Things that I've seen and experienced, just to make you all be happier, live a better life. That's why the podcast is called Forever Better. But yeah, man, just be positive out there. And everything will work out for everyone, man. But I feel like I'm gonna wrap it up there. Keep these podcasts short and sweet, straight to the point. Hope you're all doing well. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one, man. Love you all.